And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, across our beloved copper empire to YouTube's favorite show, Who Will Fail? Come on in, ladies and gentlemen, it's YouTube's favorite show. We'll fail to critically acclaim where 9 out of 10 folks say it's the best show of all time. And that last person, I don't know, he mysteriously disappeared. Welcome to today's show, and I got a quick question for you. Are you sick and tired of Relics? It's the biggest pain in your booty, I bet, huh? Yes, it is indeed. I get this question all the time. What's the best way to keep up on that Relic grind in Galaxy Heroes? Well, it's a very simple question to answer. You're looking at it right here. This right here, my friends, are these beautiful Relic packs. Yes, 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 yes. It's going to be a quick, short video, but we will talk about specific items to scrap if you're not in the way of using your crystals for packs. It's honestly, this is the best free-to-play way to get a bunch of relics to keep up on those Relic grinds, baby. But the real reason why we're making this video today, because we got 2 new ones that are here today. I know, these are in the data mines, they showed up, but not those light speed bundles. We're still waiting on those. So I'm gonna keep this beginning part short and simple. These packs come roughly once a month, and it's one of those things in the community that there's a consensus. These are amazing value. Maybe not light speed bundle, but comparatively when you look at what you need to do for your normal day-to-day Relic business, this is gonna be huge. However, I will put 2 caveats in here. All these are fantastic. The CARBONITE circuit boards, the BRONZIUM wiring, skip out on those too. ELECTRIUM conductors, ZINBIDDLEs, the IMPUSLE detectors have good value, as well as the new AEROMAGNIFIERS. Only ones I would recommend skipping out, and as we're gonna talk about in more depth, are these 2. The AURODIUM heatsinks, as well as the CHROMIUM transistors. So there you have it. If you're wondering which ones are worth it, there you go. By and large, these are all gonna be whale tier offers that you're gonna wanna pick up on. But if you wanna stick around a little bit, let's talk more in depth why these have value. And if you wanna scrap, I'm gonna give you the updated resource on what are the best ways to scrap inside a Galaxy of Heroes. First things first, this is one that I feel like everyone should be buying at one point or another for the very first time, or many times. I do this on my free-to-play account. I do this on my main account. People ask, how do I have thousands on my main account? It's because of these packs here. CARBONITE circuit boards, I called this out. The day Relics came, I was like, this is gonna be a grind. You know, when we first got Relics, we had these in abundance. And all of a sudden, as time goes on, everyone started getting starved for these. So these right here are amazing value. The overall story for these packs is at minimum, you're gonna kind of break even, but more often than not, you're gonna get way more value buying these rather than going out and scrapping them on your own. And I want to show this pretty awesome resource that I came across. Unfortunately, people don't put their freaking, tags, so I can't give them credit. I'm going to leave a link down below right away for you guys to take advantage of this graphic, download it on your HoloPad. This pretty much summarizes everything that I just said, but in a little bit more a mathematical procedure. So you don't gotta take my loud mouth for it. You could just look at the math here. And as you can see, there's a little color coordination over here where blue's gonna be great. Then we have green good, yellow's okay. And as you can see, red is bad, but you don't really see any bad offerings when it comes to these packs. Really what we're looking for, if you're understanding, well, how do we come to this analysis, whether these packs are worth it or not? Well, basically, we're just looking at, all right, if you gotta go out of your way and spend crystals, or if you gotta go use your energy, what value are you gonna get in comparison? So realistically, this right here primarily is only showing the conversion between shipments to this pack. I will leave an additional resource that I came across today that's also from Egnards. He goes in a lot more depth if you compare it to how much it costs when you do energy farms. And that's a step that I feel like a lot of times people skip out on. So as you can see, for example, CARBONITE circuit boards. Let's look at what Egnard showed here. If you do energy refreshes, and we're gonna show best farming locations, and Egnard as well pointed out one of the best farming locations right there for CARBONITE circuit boards. But if you do energy refreshes, whether it's 50, 100, to try to get those pieces that you need to create CARBONITE circuit boards, you're looking at about on average 3.47 crystals or 6.94 to get one piece of the CARBONITE circuit boards. But as you can see, the expected value if you buy the 500 crystal pack is about 3.125, which exceeds the value of the daily deals, the direct shipments, 100 crystal refreshes, 50 crystal refreshes. And here you can see what it would look like if you buy the pack. Worst case scenario, if you only get the 100 on the 500 crystal pack for carbonite circuit boards, you're gonna get about 5 crystal per average, which is a little bit higher than when you look at the 50 crystal refresh. But again, that's worst case scenario. You're likely gonna have, if you buy this more than once, you're gonna get a little bit more than 100, and right away, you're gonna get massive value. If you get the one step above all that. No, don't you dare restart my computer, Microsoft. So that's kind of the way to look at this one. I'm gonna leave those links for you if you wanna go a little bit more in depth. Overall, carbonite circuit board is gonna be a massive, 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 massive whale, my friends. So let's go talk about the next thing that we have here, which is going to be, guys, I know, this is great. This is great. Thank you so much. Bronzium wiring. Let's look at the crystal analysis again. At the end, guys, calm down. I'll go ahead and show you what we look for when in terms of scrapping. But bronzium wiring, guys, calm down. It's gonna be another one of those things that really is gonna drive us crazy as well. Why bronzium wiring? This one doesn't feel as satisfying as carbonite circuit boards, but still, there is a very positive value associated with all this. And let's just go show the variety of graphics that we have here. So, taking a look over at our Relic amplifier pack for the bronzium wiring. Again, worst case scenario, if you get the lowest one, you're gonna basically break even. However, just getting to that next tier of the pack, the second worst drop, you're gonna start getting a benefit. As you can see, we start getting into the green and then the blue category. Again, bronzium wiring, really annoying to deal with. But again, if we take a look at even Egnard's spreadsheet, again, Egnard, if you don't know Egnard, he's like one of the best Redditors, I think, for Galaxy-Spheres community. It's amazing in-depth breakdowns. He comes to a similar conclusion. Here, when we're looking at it, your expected value coming out of this, which is basically the averages of all the possible drops, it's coming at somewhere about 12 crystals here. And that comes out to be fairly decent. So if you're strapped for bronzium wiring, this bronzium wiring pack is gonna be another decent offering. But of course, there's a nice farming location right down there. And again, I'm gonna show you, I think, a better spreadsheet if you're looking for scrapping material. So again, this one right here, I'm gonna give it a nice ooh, I'm gonna give it an ah, and I'm gonna say it's a whale, my friends. Okay, coming back over. Thank you, guys. Oh, you're flattering me right now. I'm blushing. All right, taking a look at the next part we have here. So I'm just gonna tell you straight up, as I said, guys, I know these packs are good, but come on, can we dial it down a little bit, just a little bit? Oh. All right. Chromium transistors, AURODIUM heat sinks. The reason why we do not like these packs is because it's just way cheaper to just make these for free just by scrapping. There are two main pieces that we're going to talk about. Let's actually hop on over to our favorite resident scavenger that we have on the holo table. This is going to be the one that you do not want to buy those packs. Although, if you're looking at a crystal analysis, yeah, it's got some value to it, but overall, you want to stay away from it. When it comes to chromium transistors, there are two main pieces of gear that are just going to be plentiful, usually, and they get you the best value. Number one being these Mark 7 Blast Tech weapon mods. These have the best conversion when it comes to bronzium wiring, and at times, I don't think I have them right now because I think I already scooped them up. At times, they show up in the guild shipments, fully crafted pieces, so keep your eye out for the fully crafted piece that exists there. The other piece that is also very valuable, if you scroll on down here, we have the Mark 7 ball R mods. This is the second best way to create the chromium transistors. You can craft these. I believe you can also find full pieces of these at times. These, again, are gonna get you the best bang per buck when it comes to chromium transistors. Really not a lot of reasons to go out of your way and buy the packs, even though technically they do have a positive value to them when you do a shipment analysis, but it's not that hard to craft these guys. AURODIUM heat sinks, definitely don't buy it, although technically, again, there is a value, I suppose, when you buy AURODIUM heat sinks just from a crystal shipment. It's best not to. Again, this has been something we've been talking about since the very first day of Relics, but in case those who weren't around, let's just put it out there. This is the way to get your AURODIUM heat sinks. Don't scrap anything else. Just literally don't. This is what you're gonna wanna do. Craft the Mark III Sienna holo projectors. this is the best value when it comes to getting AURODIUM heatsinks. I would even say, instead of buying the AURODIUM pieces and from the crystal shipments, it would just be best to buy the full piece of this if you really were strapped for relic materials and you couldn't wait to get more Mark IIIs. This is the best way of getting it. Boom. And the way to get it, I mean, luckily there's so many of these that pop up in the weekly shipments. I think the shipment checking is broken, but your guild store is going to have it. Sometimes the shard shop, the daily shipments are going to have it for a couple of credits. These are going to be the best way to knock these puppies out. Actually, let me go down a tier. Let's go to craft. Yeah, there we go. Look, I have 1,000 pieces of these, all because of the lovely, there you go. Look at that, 10 pieces, 20 pieces, and sometimes you get like 125 pieces. You shouldn't even really need to spend energy on it. So please, if you can't take one takeaway, the packs overall are fantastic value, but I would just stay simply away from them. For 500 crystals, if you only have so much, the carbonite circuit boards, bronze and wiring, or some of the other packs are going to be a little bit better. And in case you don't believe me, let's come on over and just show you some quick old math that we have from other fantastic people in our community. We're not going to spend too much time on it, but overall, again, they're technically, when you compare it to the shipments, there's a value here, but as our friend Egnard even pointed out, it's just best to get the Blast Tech weapon mod to get those up and running. And same thing with the AURODIUM heat sinks. Technically, you know, if you go to direct shipment purchase, yes, you'll get a better value from the pack itself again, but when we look at it realistically, it's just so much better to just even purchase a full Mark III holo projector. But realistically, you're going to craft them, you're going to get tons of them from the guild store and a variety of other places. So these are going to be the two that we're going to pass up on. But now we have a couple of other big fellas here, the ELECTRIUM conductors, as well as ZINBIDDLE cards. We have some math that Egnard even provided here. And when you look at the expected value, again, the average of all the possibilities within the pack, you're looking at about 61.7 crystal per piece. Whereas if you bought them from the shipments, it's like almost half, it's almost double there. So this is, again, mathematically, yes, it's going to be a good one to pick up on. And then if you need the crossroads of someone else's opinion, if mine doesn't matter, Egnard doesn't matter, we got this third person, unnamed person here. Again, at worst case scenario, if you bought the ELECTRIUM conductors, worst case scenario, you're basically going to kind of break even, which again, isn't bad, but think about it. If you're going to do this at least more than once, you're going to be able to get a little bit more than the shipments would provide. And again, we do have some spreadsheets. Again, I want to keep you till the very end to give you my favorite resource of all this. And then might as well go to ZINBIDDLE cards while we're here. ZINBIDDLE cards also have a fairly solid value. I bought these a couple times, even on my free-to-play account. My free-to-play account, I bought ZINBIDDLEs a few times, and I bought carbonite circuit boards a few times. When we look at the ZINBIDDLE cards, again, worst case scenario, you're breaking even. It's got the yellow, which means, all right, you're not losing out. You're taking a gamble, and if you're breaking even, that's honestly as good as someone can do for a gamble. But overall, you're going to get a positive value when you buy the packs more than once. Likely, you're going to get the other ones. And here we go, same thing here. If you directly purchase ZINBIDDLE cards from the shipments, you're going to get basically half the cost if you just go for the crystal packs or the expected value. And of course, we're going to talk about the shipments as well when it comes to this. Now, there's one more thing I want to put out there. If you are looking to get these without having to buy these packs, I will say that we have decent value. Guys, I love you guys. And I'm going to tell you guys that you guys are the best. I want to say, we've been having extra avenues that I feel like some of these spreadsheets aren't really pointing out. Oh, you guys are amazing. When we look at the guild store, I would say these have decent value as well. Realistically, when it comes to the Mark III currency that's going to be associated with all the Crate Dragon raid, or I guess now the Speeder Bike Pursuit raid, generally you want to just spend it on the Mark 8, Mark 9 stuff. And then we also have Impulse Detectors, which is a nice place, and some ZINBIDDLE cards and ELECTRIUM conductors. This is going to be a nice opportunity for your ZINBIDDLE cards and ELECTRIUM conductors. I primarily spend mine on Impulse Detectors and above, but if you're looking for another way of getting it without having to bust into your crystal bank, I'd say these are another decent way of getting them without having to start scrapping your... Realistically, at the end of the day, unless there's an amazing piece that gets you tons of relics inside the Jawa shop, you kind of just want to avoid scrapping important gear and go for the cheaper options like the relic packs and even some of these that really don't break into the bank all that much when it comes to crystals. But now that leads us into the brand new ones that have come to Galaxy Heroes, and that is going to be the impulse detectors and the AEROMAGNIFIERS. I know this is, there's been speculation that there's going to be a new relic coming, because they're making this so much easier to get access to. That, you know, we'll let tinfoil hats do the tinfoil hatting. But here, the question I want to answer, are these 2 packs worth it? I've already said in the intro that all these packs are pretty much worth it, except those 2. These 2, I would say they don't look as amazing as a value like the Carbonite circuit boards and whatnot, but you're still going to get a fairly good outcome compared to buying them directly via shipments. And the story goes, just like we said, worst case scenario, you'll break even. But most cases, when you look at the expected value, you're going to get a better return, as we're going to see here. Let's take a look and check out some other people's math. If you don't believe me, taking a look, let's take a look over here on Egnard's spreadsheet first. The impulse detectors that we have here. The expected value, if you bought the packs, somewhere in the average of 113 crystals is what you're looking at per ZINBIDDLE, and that is by far way cheaper than doing refresh to get the gear, the scrap. Direct ship and purchase, still better than that. And as you can see, when worst case scenario, if you get the worst one, it's about 250 crystals. And, you know, that's when you might be, you know, not doing too hot. But again, we're expecting it more often than not. You're going to be hitting the other tiers here. And we can see the cost basis definitely exceeds the value of the other areas of the game, and the graphic that I like to show as well. Over here, we see that the Relic Amplifier pack for the impulse detectors here kind of mimics that, where worst case scenario, you're doing okay-ish if you get the worst one. But more often than not, you're going to probably get the other tiers here, and that's when you're going to get a better value than going out of your way to go into the shipments. And then let's talk about the last one here, the AEROMAGNIFIERS. AEROMAGNIFIERS, really, you can't get them unless it's in the raid. That's kind of really the only spot in the game you could really get them. You can't craft them, any of that fun jazz here. So we take a look at this. When you buy from the shipments, 250 crystals per piece, but the expected value of the AEROMAGNIFIERS is going to be 113 crystals. So that means you're going to get a better value getting these AEROMAGNIFIERS out of here. And here you go. If you break it down per piece, again, worst case scenario, if you get the worst pull, the one that only gets you 2, you're basically breaking even for the most part. But as you get into the higher valuations, the better drops, that's when you're going to do a lot better. So what we're seeing here is, again, these 2 new ones, I wouldn't say they're as crazy as the Carbonite circuit boards. I feel like everyone, I don't care if you're a whale, Kraken, free-to-play Dolphin, everyone, I feel like, in order to get through their Relic journey in Galaxy Heroes, probably should be buying the Carbonite circuit board once in a while. Great value. I've spoiled myself once or twice in the main account just buying all of the pack 10 times over. So you can buy these 10 times per release, and you'll be swimming in Carbonite circuit boards for quite a good amount of time. And I forgot to show, let's go show this graphic right here, kind of mimicking the same thing with those AEROMAGNIFIERS. You know, you might be breaking even, worst case scenario, but you're gonna be doing pretty well overall. Again, link down below to all this. There's one more to talk about. We have the GYRDRA keypads. Now, we do not have a pack for the GYRDRA keypads right now. So really, you can just farm the gear for them. And this is where I want to start talking about the scrapping. So let's say, you know, even though it's free to play to spend crystals on reasonable packs like this, you might be strapped for crystals. Usually, if you predict that these packs do come out once a month. When a Grand Arena seasonal payout comes, you get a lot of crystals. When you get a territory battle payout, which is tomorrow with the time they're recording this video, that's a big crystal payout right there. It's always ideal if you are strapped for Relics to try to keep like 500,000 crystals in the back of the tank that you can spend. And this is where I want to showcase the resource that I've been showing ever since Relics came about. This person has been keeping this up to date. There'll be a link down below. They show the best valued items for every single resource. To my opinion, it's the best scrapping spreadsheet that's out there currently. It goes through every single one. On the bottom, you have the variety of tabs that takes you through everything. And mostly, I want to just show you the few that I mentioned here today. For example, AURODIUM heatsinks, basically mimicking what the community believes. the Mark III CNR holo projectors, that's what you want to do. And really important, I don't know if I emphasize this you want to make sure you're crafting the Mark III center Hall projectors. Don't sell them individually. Craft the 20 because it's just, you get way more value when you craft that piece. So again, the spreadsheet gives you those little notes to make sure you're not missing out on anything. Same thing with the chromium transistors. Here, it shows you the Mark 7 BAW as well as the weapon tech or the weapon mod, best weight. Well, we just broke my mouse there. Anyways, that's gonna be the best way of going about it. But I wanna hop over to the GYRDRA keypads. Now, this is gonna be kind of splitting hairs, I would say. When you're scrapping for these higher pieces, especially for ZINBIDDLEs, the impulse detectors, the GYRDRAs, realistically, what you're looking at is what's in most demand, because this is where you start seeing there's not really a lot of difference once you start scrapping these pieces. It's not like the Mark III center Hall projectors for the AURODIUM heatsinks or the weapon mod for the chromium transistors. They all basically more or less give you the same stuff, but it comes to what do you need and what don't you need. If you're putting GYRDRA keypads together, you're like, oh, I don't need this. You scrap that, even though technically it's in more demand because more characters might need them. And you see this as a similar drill when it comes to impulse detectors. Again, depending on what you need, what you don't need, this is what you're gonna look at. So when you're gearing up your characters, be like, all right, I need these pieces, but I don't need these pieces. But again, if you're buying impulse detectors from your raid shipments, or maybe even from the packs in the store, you could probably skip out and not have to worry as much about this. Again, decent value that exists in there. Same thing as ZINBIDDLE cards. It's mostly what's in demand, what's not in demand overall, but it depends where you are in the game and what you need in the foreseeable immediate future. And it just goes on down. Again, every single time we talk about relics, this is the resource I like to bring up. Keep it bookmarked. There'll be links down below to the variety of resources that we have today. Overall, I would say if you, at the very minimum, keep your eyes peeled for whenever these packs come the Galaxy of Heroes, you're gonna be A-okay. Monthly, remember, usually on a monthly basis, guys. I know you're excited. These packs show up. Try to keep some crystals in the bag. But until we meet again, just remember that, my friends, it is great to be in the Empire today. Thank you so much for stopping by. Hope this video was helpful. These packs are great. Make sure you take advantage of them, but make sure you remember that all the fun we've had, all the memories that took place here on Whaler Field. This is your friendly neighborhood Emperano T101, the first name King of Trippy, Gods Get the Mobile Gaming, 8th day creation of director of the video game many of the fifth titles. I'll catch you guys later. I love ya. Send them on home.